Hi. Tuesday. I know you might be thinking it's Thursday, but it's not, it's Tuesday. I'm here to talk about shearing. And it's one of those things where I've always wanted to do it. And there's a whole backlog of story on this one. Now, my comments are down at the bottom, so I'm going to have trouble moving things back and forth. So you're going to have to bear with me today, all right? Because I'm going to have to take the machine apart a little bit and all of that. Okay, so it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Right, so shearing. Shearing is when you elasticate something. You know those dresses that they do where all the top bits elasticated, and my mum used to buy them, that they were elasticated on the top, and then the skirt went and you just had straps. We had them all as teenagers. Now I think you used to be able to buy the fabric already sheared on one bit, but she might have been doing the shearing herself and you just sewed it down one side. You folded it round and did it down one side. So a couple of the patterns that I've got need a bit of shearing on around the middle, or a little bit at the back, so that it gives you more room to do that. Make it tighter on the front and you can do this. Just like that. Not like that. Like that. So we are going to learn how to do that. So how is everybody? Hiya Natalie, Carolyn, Anne, Grace, hiya. Like I say, we're going to, all right Lind, we're going to be going back and forth because the chat settings were up on the side. I've tried to move them, and after the disaster that we had last week, Thursday, I've decided that we're not even going to bother moving anything. We'll wait for Sarah to do that tomorrow. So, I started shearing, okay? Not shearing a sheep, shearing this fabric and stuff. I don't know whether it's shearing or shearing. Shearing, S-H-I-R-R-I-N-G. So I started doing that, and it wouldn't work. I tried always, it just would not work. And this was the best that I got, and I thought, well, that's not very much stretch. You're supposed to get 1.5 to 2 times the stretch. And I tried all sorts of things. So some of them have got writing in. So it says use a long stitch. So I went up to my longest, which on my brother is a 5, right? And it says to drop your needle tension. If you're not getting the stretch, drop your needle tension. So I went from, I've got them all written down here. So that top one there, let's go over here. So this top one here is done with a 2.5 inch stitch. Can you see? There's not a lot of stretch on there. It's quite neat on the back, and it was fine. When I first started, let's get all my little bits out. When I first started, I was getting these loops in the back, which means that my needle tension was too high. So I dropped it down and I was getting a straighter. You can see where it was a bit loopy, and then I dropped the tension down and I was getting a better, this was, the elastic was straight, but I was getting no stretch. So we changed that, and I got a little bit more stretch, and I thought, oh, we're getting there. I've got some stretch, but it's still not very much. So then we went from, I changed everything round, and I forgot to put my stitch back up. So that's the 2.5. This one's a 4 with my tension down to 3 on my machine. Okay. This one's a 4 with the tension down to 4. So I thought, Okay, let's give it a go. So that's a 4 with the tension down to 5, and I thought, oh, we're getting there. Because then it was, that was on a 5. And I thought, oh, that doesn't look too bad. So then we tried it, tension at a 1, tension at 0.4. There. And that's pretty much taking away as much tension as possible, and it's still not giving me what I wanted. So I got down to this. I did do one where I think that's the next stage. So this is what I got. So I went back to the drawing board. And oh, I did do camera. Oh no, we do need a beep. 3. Oh, right. Okay, so we do that again. Right, are we on the right camera? I thought I pressed the right button. I'm so sorry. Right, you can see the loop on the back here. Okay, now the loop meant that my front tension wasn't, my needle tension wasn't low enough. So I lowered it. I got a straight stitch, but no stretch. And here, that's a small stitch, and then we're going down here. Now this one was a 5 with a tension of 5, so we were getting a little bit better. I went down as far as the 1 on my tension on my needle, and a 0.4, and I didn't want to go to no tension whatsoever. I mean, I'm getting it's straight on the back. So that was okay. That's right, the rulers are, there we go. It's straight on the back, but I was still not getting very much. So I went back to the internet, and they said if it's not concertinaing, gathering as much as you want it to, put a steam iron on it. So I got my old steam iron out because I've not put water in my new one, because I don't use the water on quilting. So I had to clean it. You should have seen the gunk that came off it. It was horrible. So once it was running clean, I steamed this, and it's still, I mean, it looks all right. It would be okay for maybe a cuff. It would give you that little bit of stretch, but I still don't think it's enough. So I went back to the internet, and right, we're back on this one. Is this one all right now? Cool. So I went back to the internet and researched. It took me ages researching this yesterday, and apparently brother machines don't like to shear. Okay, so I found a blog on somebody who had the same problem as I was having, that it didn't matter how much I dropped my tension, you needed to tighten the tension on your bobbin. Now, I'd have liked to have, if I'd have been doing that in the morning, I would have had time to come over and try it on Sarah's Bernina. But it was something that I didn't want to try first hand on Sarah's Bernina. I would have rather have it with her over my shoulder. So I asked her to switch it out for the brother. I like Sarah's Bernina. There's a lot about it I like, but I don't like to drive somebody else's car, and I don't like to go in, to drive a courtesy car if it's not the same as mine. I just don't. I get quite anxious about it. So, which is why I prefer the brother, because that's what I'm using at home. Remember what I was like when Sarah had the updated brother to mine, and it had more buttons and I couldn't remember which buttons to press? Well, it's exactly the same. Anyway, where was I? What was I talking about? Right, So I went back to the drawing board, and I thought, I don't want to change my bobbin. I don't want to be playing with the bobbin tension on my new machine. I always worry I'm not going to get it back. So I suddenly thought, I had a bobbin case, which I bought an extra bobbin case for my embroidery machine. The first one I had, the tension wasn't right, so they said maybe it was a bobbin issue. So I went back to that. Okay, so now I don't know how close I'm going to have to go to get this in focus. Right, so this is my bobbin case. Let's just move that down a minute. Okay, there. Now, can you see here? This is, there's a little screw there. That's your tension. So I moved it all the way down, or moved it quite a bit down to the right. That tightens your tension on your bobbin if you move it to the right. So that's what I did. And then I took my machine apart, took the one that comes with the machine out so that I wasn't playing with that one, and popped this one in. So we're going to do that with Sarah's machine. My machine did squeak a bit, but my husband said it was fine. So that's once I dropped it, this is what I was getting, and I'm getting a lot better stretch. Okay, so I tightened the bobbin, but this is my longest thread stitch length is a 5. So this is a 5, and the top tension at 6. Okay, and then 3, 2. I tried all these different ones. Okay, I kept working my way through them. No, I'm missing one. I don't know. So I ended up with, I thought, the tension at 6, right? So even though they said to take the tension down, I decided the tension at, so that said 6, 5, that's right. Tension length 5, tension 5, all right, with the tighter bobbin. So we're going to change the bobbin case. You ready for this? So now I have to find Sarah's screwdrivers. Okay, no, I like that one. Okay, so we're going to go over here. So we're going to take this off. I haven't turned the machine on because they go a little bit ballistic when you do. So I'm going to take the foot off, and we're going to unscrew it. Okay, so trying to do this where you can see. Okay, so loosened the screw, we're taking the screw off. Now this is where we find out whether Sarah's machine is clean. I think it's being serviced and then not used very much, except by me. On my machine, this bit here is plastic. They've changed it, you know, and I've only got 2 screws. So we're just taking this off now. Now, the bobbin, they say you can wind it by hand. You don't want it too tight. But I found that if I held it and did my bobbin on a slow, really slow, it didn't go on too tight. You don't want any stretch in, or not very much stretch in the elastic. Now it all depended on which one you were reading, which blog things. Some of them said take your take your stitches down as low as you can, and others they didn't. They said take them up. Right, so I've taken out the bobbin case, all right, and I'm going to put mine in. Now you can see they're slightly different, as in this one here has got a smaller amount of felt there, and this one's got a bigger amount. It could be that if I'm going to do shearing, then I get I'll get a new bobbin completely. So this one, it's free moving, but it doesn't go all the way round, so we're assuming that that's in right. Now your thread, the shearing, has to sit, once the bobbin is in there, it has to sit under this bit here. Now, if I'm going to try and bring it so that you can see. This bit here, this is where your thread ends up underneath, alright? You have to make sure that your thread is caught in that bit there, otherwise it won't work. So, what could possibly go wrong? I know, Natalie, I'm, bricking it a little bit. So we're going to put this back together now. I'm hoping that I'm putting it back together properly. Right. Sarah had people in the shop, so I'm hoping that she's too busy to watch this. I'm taking her machine apart. Right, so we're going to put the screws back in. I'm not going to tighten them all the way down because I'm going to have to untighten them to get the bobbin out. I've got to hope that this all works. We're just putting these screws back in. Like this. And then we'll move on to the bobbin. And I will show you how to do the bobbin. So, right, so that's all done, okay? So that's moving a little bit. Just make sure that it's not moving too much. There we go. Right, so bobbin. So I'm taking you up here. Have we gone up enough? Right, so you can see the bobbin. So I'm going to put a new bobbin on there. Okay. I'm going to bring the shearing around and I'm going to tuck it under there, and we'll cut that off afterwards. Right, so we're going to take the speed right down. Need to bring that along here, and we're going to fill it just from my hand, slowly. You don't want any stretch on it. Right, that'll be it. It's stopping there. It looks a lot more even on the screen than it does in real life. I'll tell you that. Right, so we've taken it off. Let's come back down here. So this is my bit that I don't need. This bit is the leading from the bobbin, so we're just going to chop that off so it's not going to get caught in anything. Okay, and we're going to put it in here I'm going to take it down, but you've got to make sure that you feel the bite. See, you'll see it. It needs to bite. I think, let's see where it goes. There we are. I think it's there. And we're going to put a darker thing on. Right, we haven't got very much shearing elastic in the shop at all, but on our next order we'll get some more in if you want to give it a go. Okay, so we're going to thread our machine up. Okay, so you don't want to take your elastic around and then put the cover on. What we want to do is try and pick it up from here. Now that's not moving. Now the bobbin case is not moving. I don't know whether it's supposed to. Right, so I've got the elastic, it's picked up the elastic, so I'm going to pull it through like that and pull it through like that. Okay, are you all with me so far? Let's have a look and see what you're... Yeah, you could mark where the screw was before you move it. That's not a bad idea. I just didn't want to use my the one that I was. I didn't want to use my one that came with the machine. Right, so we're going to put the cover on there, and we're going to go over to here. Okay. Go back up here. It's alright, I'm having to move so that I can see the picture. So can you see on here we've got the tension. Now the tension is 4. Okay, now what did we reckon we were good at? 5 and 5. Okay, so this is the width of your stitch. So if you're doing a zigzag, that will tell you how big your zigzag's going to be. So if you're Frankensteining wadding, that needs to be quite wide to get over. And this one is your stitch length. So this at the moment is your 2.5, which we use for piecing, and we're going to take that up to 5. Okay, yeah, 5 is the biggest that will go on this one, and I'm going to take this tension, I'm going to take up to 5 because that's what worked on my machine. So fingers crossed, we are back to this. Okay, and we're going down here again, so just wait for the camera to catch up. It's alright, the camera on my computer is a bit slower. So I have my bit of fabric. Now I'm using a dark thread so that you can see. Okay, so either draw your lines so that you know where you're going, or you can use edge of foot, or you can use the lines that they give you on here to work out where you're going to go. So you're going to put your foot down, I'm going to put the needle down, I'm going to take it back so that I've locked it, and then we're going to go for it and hope that that going to work. So they reckon that you need to do about 5 or 6 lines. Okay. That there. And that's not working. Okay. So we're going to change our tension. So you can see on there I'm getting loopies. So I'm going to change my tension down on this one. I've changed it to a 3 now. Let's see if I can, oh yeah, put that down. Right, so I'm going to use edge of foot now coming along here. You can see that it takes a lot. Don't go straight into your project. By all means, do a couple of test pieces first. And that's still not working. Okay, so we're gonna higher the foot. This is going to be one of those things. Right, I can see why I'm not getting anything. My bobbin has dropped out. So in here, if you want your bobbin thread to be right, you need it to, the thread goes back across and always stays across. That sounds a bit better. Let's try that. Okay. Okay, it's picking it up. It's bringing it through. Now, can you see on there? No. Let me see if I can undo this a minute. Bear with me. Right. Oh. No, stay like that. There we are. Okay. There. Can you see where this thread is coming across here? Now, if your bobbin drops out, it'll come from round here, whereas this is coming across there, which is why I'm not getting any tension on that. So we're going to try this again. It really was trial and error last night. How do I put you back in the right place? How to make you feel sick in one easy lesson. No. Okay, right, we're going to put the cover back on and we're going to give it another go. So we'll try the other end. Right, so here we go again. Oh, that's going. You can hear that the bobbin doesn't like, you can hear it squeaking. So you can see I'm starting to now get some shirring. Now you need to make sure that when you're doing your next lines, it's working, look at that girls. When you do your next lines, you need to make sure that the fabric that you're sewing on is flat, okay? Now the squeak, I promise Sarah, once I put your other one back in, it won't squeak. And I think if I'm going to, I've got definitely a dress pattern that needs shirring. I think I would probably buy a new bobbin case. So I can see that my bobbin, the thread is still coming out in the right place. So now I'm wondering whether, because I've got a 3 now, and it's not, it's quite sheared. So going like this. Okay. Sounds awful, but Dave instead tells me that it's fine. Now, one of the things I kept doing yesterday, I've got an automatic cutter. I kept automatically cutting, but you want to go back to old school, okay? So, there we go. So if we go over to there, no, that's that one, over to this one. Now, this is the shearing elastic, okay? Now I think it's too tight now, all right? I quite liked it when it was on the 5, but we've definitely got the it's definitely got smaller, okay? Now you should be able to pull it out. You know, this one I can pull right out so that it's straight. So you need to practice on all of them. I've got a feeling that I would need a I would need to do a 5 because I'm not, oh, hang on, there we go. What's going on there? Oh, it's pulled I've pulled out my elastic there. So I'm getting the stretch now, but I've pulled out the bottom elastic. So yeah, so really it is trial and error. You keep going. When I looked it up in my manual book, the manual didn't have anything to do with shearing. It did tell me how to do smocking though. Look at that. So we'll do smocking another day. I'll find a little girl's pattern and we'll do some smocking on it. Have you any questions before I take Sarah's thing apart? And yeah, I wrote all my settings on the piece of paper, but I forgot to put them back up to a 5 when I'd got the bobbin right. Yes, they did with the shearing. It's definitely a technique that I want to perfect. It's worth a little go, but you need to play around with it. It would be interesting to see whether I can do it on Sarah's Benina without fiddling with the bobbin. It would be interesting to see if it's in the book, in the manual. I would imagine if it's a machine that doesn't mind shearing, but apparently nearly all brothers don't shear. Okay. Cutting instructions for Wednesday. Sarah will probably do those tonight. Okay. Or this afternoon if we don't keep giving her work to do. So they'll be out soon. There you go. That's shearing. I will see you next week. Sarah will do a walk round. I'm with her on the Thursday. So Linda's in the shop on Thursday. Sarah and I are in Llandilo. So we'll do a walk around on the quilts. I'm in the shop on Thursday, and then on Friday, and then we're both back in Llandilo on the Saturday. So if you are local, come and have a look at the quilts, because it's an open quilt exhibition. To come and see what Llandilo quilt groups are doing. And Sian's in the shop on Saturday. So if you want to meet Sian or see Sian, then pop yourself over to the shop. Okay, I'm going now, and I will see you. No, I think you're right, Lynn. It was for an embroidery machine, and it was a small embroidery machine. It wasn't my V3. It would have been a 500 and something or other, I think. So I think that's why it squeaks. So if I'm going to do shearing, I'm definitely going to buy one. Yeah, 50E was it? I don't know. Embroidery machine. It worked anyway, eventually. So there we go. Right. I will see you Thursday on the other side of the camera. We will have a look at smocking when I can't think of something else to do, Eileen. We will do smocking. I quite enjoyed that. That actually worked really easy. It won't take long at all. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.